Hello, it is Sunday, February the 27th, 2022. This is Ben Shatliff on Sunday, and we do have some brightness behind us. This week, we all know what the big talking point is, the tragedy of what's happening in Ukraine. And overnight, the second city has been hit. The capital itself, Kiev, is still in the hands of Ukraine. Or at least it was when I listened to the news earlier on. Yesterday, I attended an event at the Gardens here in Manchester to show solidarity, and I was stood with some people from Hong Kong, that were representing Hong Kong. Actually came from Warrington, because they said they've been having similar scenarios of how China, with what they're doing in Hong Kong. I've often said about the world as it is in 2022, and quite a lot of stuff which I've seen and on the news and heard of different people saying, and it's common ground that we are in 2022, and it's almost like turning the clock back 85 years ago of what is happening in Ukraine. But it's not just Ukraine, there's other countries in this world where there's terrible problems going on. And we just must all act in solidarity together to help anybody who is in any danger at all whatsoever. I was watching ITV News this morning, a special programme presented by the great presenter Charlene White, and she actually stood up to Liz Truss, the Foreign Secretary, and actually said, we're seeing scenes of children in train stations in Poland who managed to get over the border from Ukraine with nowhere to go. We need to be doing something here in the United Kingdom to not just help these people, but also to welcome them with an open arm. Imagine a scenario where we had an invasion here in the United Kingdom, and then people were trying to find a way of getting out and somewhere to go. We would want somewhere to go, wouldn't we? So, in these great times of humanitarian and people in need, those welcome, the arms, the embracement needs to be there for everybody. Now, we've all been devastated by the events which have happened in Ukraine over the last few days, the run up to it. And there's been an awful lot that everybody has had to put up with COVID and everything else over the last 2 years. So what I just want to do, just for the next few minutes, in this week's edition of Ben Shatliff on Sunday, is going to be a little bit shorter. And the reason why it's going to be a little bit shorter is because I've already done quite a few different broadcasts, and I'm pretty sure there'll be a lot more to come, possibly today and definitely over the coming days. So I just want to try and take things completely away from everything that is going on as it stands at the moment. And that's not in any way, shape or form any kind of a disrespect or anything like that, because everybody knows my full feelings, and I think I've shown that the way I've been very deeply upset about it. But we're going to we've not even got a spring day yet. We are still in winter. We've got some beauty outside there in terms of the sunshine and everything else. And the background I have here, which is real, it's not all superimposed. I do have some prayers, and one of them, which I always put next to my nephew's niece, when I say, now before I run to pray, let me not forget to pray. Help me, Lord, to love you more than I ever loved before. In my word and in my play, be with me throughout the day. And then there's also one there about the 7 gifts of the Holy Spirit, which is wisdom, understanding, counsel, fortitude, knowledge, piety, and fear of the Lord. And then just a little bit over there, if I can just turn this around slightly, I can do that with the laptop. I do have 4 candles which I have made myself. I did not go into a hardware shop and say, can I have 4 candles or 4 candles? I actually made those myself. All these candles which I have behind me, which you very often see burning, but I've not got them all burning today. I've got some just there. Just before Christmas, I got myself a new device where you can actually note the candles. And what I do, once they've actually reached their end, I'll throw the silver part away, which goes for recycling. The others that are melted and then turned into the candles. And in fact, there's one here which just needs to be cleaned up. A candle a good friend of mine got me at Christmas. That's all been recycled. Got the wicks and everything else. Put those in. And that's also how this is done as well, in terms of putting there and then heating up, etc. Then on this side here, just so that people can see, I have the scriptures of the day in the Catholic faith. So for instance, today, as it is the 8th Sunday in Ordinary Time, before we then move into Lent on Wednesday, I also have the family prayer there and also the prayer of Saint Michael. So this setup I have here behind me has different things behind it. I always have pictures of my family, different things as well. And this really is just kind of my little setup here. I do, if we move this round, I don't know if you can see that properly, I do actually have a white screen there, which the idea is when to eventually do some live news updates, is to try and find a way of doing a touch of like a green screen, or even like putting certain things up. That's why the map of Europe is at the back of me to try and do different things. So for once, I suppose I've actually shown you round my setup here. If I had millions of pounds, I'd get specific cameras and everything else, but it's all done from the comfort of my own room. I don't think anybody needs to see the bed as it stands, but everything is all kept nice and tidy. So that's just showed a bit of lightness from everything else which is going on, just saying a little bit about how all of this is all put together. The idea is if more people, thank you for all the ones that subscribe, all the ones that do watch this on a regular basis, on all the various different videos I do. But the idea is that the more people that subscribe, then we can start to do more things. And eventually what I would like to do is actually have an interactive background. And if anybody out there has any ideas and ways of how you can do a video and put a background on, please drop me a message. You can email me inquiries@benjaminfshatliff.com. You can send me a text via WhatsApp 07860 790 996, or you can look me up on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, or even drop a comment underneath here or something like that, which some people do, and I do read and I do respond most of the time. Right, okay, so that is it for this week's edition of Ben Shatliff on Sunday. Next week, as we go into Lent, I will be sharing some more Lenten reflections like I was doing during Advent. And of course, I will be keeping people updated on all the latest about what's happening in Ukraine. But just for the moment, just really just try and take a breath. It's very, very difficult what's going on. But let's all take a breath and remember today is the Lord's Day of Rest. And let's hope that there can eventually be peace and goodwill across the earth that the good Lord created. For me, a very good